Hello again. Like many people in this country, I've gained a good deal of amusement at the mad antics of the Queers for Palestine movement, who are very keen on supporting Hamas in Gaza. Since Gaza is now something of a touchstone these days for determining who is progressive and liberal, one cannot really blame them for this lunacy, I suppose. Gaza today is rather what Vietnam was in the 1960s and South Africa in the 1980s. One must take the right side in this matter or be cast into the outer darkness. So it is that any self-respecting British homosexual is obliged to voice support for Palestine. Hence, Queers for Palestine. Something rather similar happened a few years ago in the United States, before Gaza became the cause to unite the left wing. Many gay people in the Michigan city of Hamtramck were very keen supporters of Islam when Muslims from Bangladesh and Yemen began settling in a city which had previously consisted mainly of Catholics from Eastern Europe. They protested against Islamophobia, declared that the Muslims were their friends, and urged everybody to stop being beastly to them. Nobody was louder in their support for Muslims than gay people in Hamtramck. After all, they knew what it was like to be the object of prejudice, and so felt that they had much in common with the Muslim immigrants. More conservative types moved out, muttering "there goes the neighbourhood" under their breath. But gay and trans people were delighted to live in such a multicultural urban area. They were thrilled in 2015 when a Muslim majority city council was elected to govern the city. This was progress. This was one in the eye for Islamophobic people across the nation. What those enthusiastic homosexuals failed to realise was that the local Muslims were a good deal more conservative than the staunchest Trump supporter. A few years later, and there was not a single woman on the city council, because, of course, many conservative Muslims do not approve of women holding political power. This is especially so for those from Yemen, of course. So it was when that time of year rolled round, when everybody starts hanging up rainbow flags and so on, the Muslim City Council passed a resolution that no LGBTQ flags could be raised on property or buildings owned by the city. The meeting where this vote was held was packed with Muslims who cheered and applauded the news. There was a palpable feeling that here were people who disliked homosexuality and didn't want to see any evidence of it being displayed publicly. Needless to say, the gay people were perplexed and felt that this was a bit much. They had supported all those Muslims, hadn't they? What was happening now? What had happened was that these people had been useful idiots to the Muslims who simply wanted to run the city and impose their own beliefs on everybody else. When they were the minority, many left-wingers and liberals were keen to help them. But now that Muslims were the majority, they had no interest at all in gay people, Christians, or any other minority. Theirs was a Muslim city, and everybody had to adapt to Muslim values. There is a lesson here for the simple-minded left-wingers in Britain who are currently engaged in trying to adopt a definition of Islamophobia, which will enable the people who say horrible things about Muslims or criticize Islam to be arrested. Blasphemy law, in other words. Many of those types are rushing to sign up to a new political party, which has 6 MPs in Parliament, 5 of them Islamist, and the other one being Jeremy Corbyn. All those playing this game are gullible fools who will be the first to suffer if they allow Islam to gain any power. I wonder if anybody remembers the Iranian Revolution, when the left-wing resistance to the Shah and all those students fought to drive him from the country by joining force with the Islamists led by Ayatollah Khomeini. What happened to all those left-wingers and student radicals after the Islamists took power? They were all shot